Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 188. The show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we're faced with a tough choice to pledge our allegiance in the tower, see the return of an infamous weapon found on the salt mines, and discuss what roles we're playing in Gambit Prime. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and of course, Mr. CyborgSasquatch. Hey, man.
Hello, Guardian.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am doing okay, man. We were talking before the show. I think it might be possible that I have a low-grade fever right now, but that is all right.
Or should I call you Dredgen, or should I call you friend of the Vanguard?
You should not. Capital letters Vanguard with an exclamation mark.
There needs to be, I'm surprised that there's not like I think there needs to be a title for each, like allegiance that you choose. That would be cool in Destiny, so whether it's knows. Like you're a Vanguardian, you're a Crucible junkie, you're a Gambit junkie, you're a raid junkie.
It'd be cool if there was like something notated on your character screen somewhere, like maybe smaller than a title that like showed where you spent most of your time or something.
Yeah, like what is your persuasion? What does the data say? Right?
That's funny. That's good.
Anyways,
you're a Dredgen Drifter follower, aren't you? Actually, I think
on one character. Yeah, I'm living a dual life.
I haven't started the Drifter side. We were just talking, man, before. We'll get into all this, but I was like, man, are you serious? You get infamy points? Like, I need that this season.
Oh, no, yeah. So we'll talk about Allegiance soon. Interesting stuff there, but first we got a lot of news to talk about from the TWAB and other stuff, and then talk about all the fun things there is to do this week. Do we have any announcements or anything about the show or the clan or anything?
I don't think so, man. We're chilling on the announcements. We're wrapping up the giveaway. You guys should be hearing from us if you haven't already, but other than that, we don't have anything.
We'll throw this out there because it was asked about by a couple of people. If you're playing Division 2, because there's a lot of people that play those types of game, I am going to set up a Division 2 clan on PC. I don't know how clans work in Division, but I'm going to figure it out. So if, at the very least, if you're on PC and you're going to be playing Division 2, look me up on Division on Uplay. I'm pretty sure my handle is the same. It should be CyborgSasquatch or CyborgLupi, one of those. Friend me or just message me in Discord or tag me like in other games or something, and I'll try to get you an invite or send you some details.
Yeah, I think I've been following Division some. But I think they've like enhanced their clan features and stuff. So hopefully there's quite a few options there. Yeah.
Cool. Man.
Since the first game, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So yeah. Cool.
So that's that. But besides that, how about some news? You ready for some news?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. First up, this week at Bungie, we restored the thorn in your side. Thorn is back in the wild. Have you seen one yet?
No, I haven't. I mean, not in game while I'm playing.
I've seen a couple. Have you noticed there's a change to Thorn now? When you kill enemies, they drop these little green pools. Mm-hmm. I don't know the term that they use or what they call them in the game.
What is it? I
wish I
because
knew.
You get what I was watching someone like run through a lost sector and never have to reload. Like, what's the exact perk?
I think it fills your magazine as well as gives the Thorn DOT additional damage. This is from what I've heard. I don't have the weapon yet.
Back, I hear.
I think if you have that buff, it will 2-tap.
2-tap is back.
At a certain resilience. I think it's 5 or below. If you're in the Crucible, you can 2-tap with that buff.
I did have a thought this week. We were talking about, on the roadmap, how there's another exotic listed will be available to everyone, not just annual pass owners. I kind of read the TWAB and I thought to myself, I it would have been. It seems like maybe it would have made more sense if Thorn would have been the one available to everyone because we have had it before. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I mean, I have the annual pass, so it makes me no difference. But you know what I mean? Like, it's an old exotic. It kind of maybe would have made sense that one would have been the seasonal available to everyone exotic.
For that one to be the one they're not selling us, and for the other thing to be the one that they're selling us.
Right, the one that probably is going to be new. Anyways, random thought I had.
That aside, though, like, there's a storyline going on.
Very true.
With The Last Word, with Thorn, with Shin Malphur, with the Drifter, like all these things that kind of come together in the story that's being told through the annual pass, and so it does make sense for that reason.
Yeah, very good point.
And then if you're a Destiny 1 Guardian and you see Thorn, you're like, I want to get my hands on that. It gives you a it gives you a reason to want to pick that up, right?
Yeah.
So
always.
I don't know. But owners of the annual pass can acquire this weapon by sifting through the ashes of the EDZ. If you don't know how to start it, go look on the started Tross land, look in your map, and you want to head up towards the salt mines. If you earn it, there's going to be a new Bungie reward, of course, where once you unlock that, says that we're adding new Bungie rewards for players to earn as they complete the quest and other content season of the Drifter, and they show off a really awesome black t-shirt and a Thorn miniature model. This t-shirt looks awesome, and I love how it's like a shiny black. Man, I don't know what it is, but
yeah, it's cool. It looks like a Guns N' Roses album.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. I can't wait to get my hands on this. And then another thing I'm excited about, they're also showing off a Gambit Prime jersey that you can unlock. And there will be 4 variations, one for each different Gambit Prime role that you can pick up. So of course, you've got a green one, which I think is Reaper, yellow for Sentry, red for Invader, and then what's the Collector? I don't remember the color. I think it's white.
Yeah, what is it?
I think Collector's white or gray.
There's no blue.
Yeah, no blue. So these are pretty cool. It's, jersey or like a polo style shirt with a big Gambit snake insignia on the front, and it's pretty cool looking, man. So to earn this, you have to win a match of Gambit Prime with a single complete set of Notorious armor equipped for a single role, which I believe the Notorious armor is the highest tier Gambit Prime set that you can earn. So likely it's going to involve, having to grind through those tier 3s and earn those. And you'll have till June 4th, I believe, to earn that.
Very nice. Hey, you got the Thorn miniature, right? Replica? Or not the Thorn, sorry, the Last Word?
I ordered it, yes. I did.
Yes, you ordered it. Mm-hmm. Dude, I decided, after you told me how much that was, the day had come that I needed to order at the deadline. And I decided not to, man, because I'm like, I could probably find for a couple $100 or so on, I've seen them before on Etsy or something like that, and maybe get like an actual size one. So I decided not to get it. I know you can get those crazy expensive ones.
Sure, yeah.
But you have to let me know. Anyways, I thought you had gotten it. You have to let me know.
Yeah, I did. And I actually, I have a 3D printed and painted Thorn replica a friend gave to me a couple years ago. That's really cool. But, to get like the level of quality and precision you want out of like a really nice replica, like these are, I think, a pretty good deal for like a miniature that you just want to look at.
Yeah.
Like unless you're cosplaying,
but I decided not to get it either.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody. I am a Destiny collector, so like these are no brainers for me because it's in-game stuff that's really cool, and they're guns that I have a lot of like connection to somehow, and. So,
but dude, there's so much stuff too. I mean, my shelf alone, without ordering any of that, like I bought multiple new shelves. I have Lego or Mega Blocks everywhere. Like cubes full of Destiny stuff.
Oh yeah, man. I have
easy.
Boxes and containers all in my closet full of stuff.
You don't have room.
Yeah, until I move and get a bigger office, like I don't have anywhere to put all this stuff. Eventually I'll have like a pretty impressive display of stuff that I'll be able to show off. But
yeah, one of my favorite things I got was just a miniature ghost from the Cade 6 bundle.
Yeah, I like that little
you
ghost.
got that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I put that like right under my center monitor. I love that thing.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. I like that one. So next up in the TWAB, they talk about choosing sides. Did you side with the Vanguard or the Drifter? Now, we alluded to that. Of course, my Titan has chosen the side of the Drifter, and I'm running my Hunter on the Vanguard side. Which side did you choose, my friend?
Titan, my main, I went Vanguard. I mean, I rock Zavala's ship and everything, so I just wanted to stick with my boy.
Fair enough.
But I haven't started the second one yet, but I anticipate maybe my Warlock, since my Hunter is kind of my Crucible Guardian. Maybe my Warlock I'll go.
Yeah, apparently if you don't side with the Vanguard, Shax gets a little upset. I've heard there are some voice lines and stuff, maybe in Crucible games or somewhere else, where he expresses his displeasure. So have no qualms. Like the Drifter and Shax don't like each other very much, and you can see that. Like if you look at some of the lore pieces, even the Drifter has a line if you walk up to him and he's like, "Is there anywhere in the tower that you can't hear that one arm something, that one horned?" Behemoth or something. Like he's complaining about Shax. It's pretty funny.
That's great, dude. I also, we were talking before we started, I love if it like really pans out like this. These are such a cool angle to go with these kind of quests, because when I like got to the last prompts of Vanguard, it was talking about how the Drifter was going to treat me differently and stuff. I'm like, that's cool, man. Like to get different lines like we talked about and things like that.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yep. So they actually detail, depending on which side you've chosen, it mentions at the beginning of the quest that you'll receive different rewards, and they've detailed at least some of those rewards that you'll receive. Depending on which side you've chosen, you might get one of two different packages each week as a gratitude for your pledge. So the Vanguard weekly package, you'll receive powerful Vanguard gear, a boon of the Vanguard, 10 Vanguard Tactician tokens, and an enhancement core. The Drifter weekly package, you'll receive powerful Gambit gear, a synth of Collector, Invader, Sentry, and Reaper, and 100 Infamy points.
Dude, that's what I hinted at. Could we at least get 5 enhancement cores? Like, Infamy would be so great this season.
Yeah.
But I went Vanguard.
Those cores, though, man.
Right.
Scores.
Those cores, at least 5. Like they're still kind of
so stingy. Why so stingy?
I'm not doing what I do every season now. Like before, I would like periodically, maybe every 10 power levels or so, infuse the gear that I like. And this season, I'm like, nope. I'm gonna just look all mismatched until I at least get to like 690 or something.
Right.
Because I'm stacking the cores.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I usually just mismatch stuff until I get into an activity that requires the power, and then I just either wear what is, the most powerful, or I pick the stuff I need and then infuse that. So I can,
it's like I'm
not waste resources.
Rocking like 1 recovery right now with 10 resilience or something.
Yuck. Yeah. I had a suit on my Hunter when I was running the other night, and it was like 10 mobility, 1 resilience, like 2 recovery. I was like, oh god, this is terrible, but I couldn't adjust it. I was like, all right, I guess I gotta go with this.
It's like no shaders applied, even though they're inexpensive. It's like, just throw it on. Let's go do some stuff.
Yep. Also, they mentioned that if you're a lore collector, you'll get different lore on different characters, from what I understand. Now, for sure, if you pledge Vanguard, you're going to only have access to the letters from Anur. The rest of that lore book you'll earn. On the Drifter side, I haven't completed the quest this week, so I don't know if it actually unlocks any lore pieces, but I do know that there is some story that's told, from what I understand, some audio logs from the Drifter's perspective that you can only access by completing that. So if you've got more than one character, it behooves you to try to run one on each. Man, I just wanted to talk real quick about this quest and how they presented it and how just interesting and unique this is for Destiny. I don't know why
like the sets and this allegiance type of quest, like these are cool things that come into the game.
I think it's so simple, and it's on any other game this would be like a kind of a run-of-the-mill expectation to see this sort of thing. But I guess just in Destiny, after playing this game for so many years and never having anything like it, I thought it was so cool, even how they presented it. Like, you go up to the Drifter and he's like, hey man, we need to have a talk. Like, I need to know if you're with or against me. And then it presents this screen and you hover over the two different options. They have a sound effect that when you would go over the Drifter item, it's like, and then you go over the Vanguard, it's like, whoa. It's really funny. And then it shows you, if you hover over each, like, it very clearly says, like, this action will possibly have, like, later consequences. Like, the Drifter will remember this. You'll this, and that. And there's just never been anything like this in the game. And I thought it was just so unique and different for the game. I don't know. This isn't anything like groundbreaking, but for Destiny, I feel like it is.
It's just, it's cool for Destiny. It's nice to see something like this. Again, like we talked about, like the set pieces for Gambit. Like, it's basically just, it's cool after all this time to see this kind of stuff in the game. And, the community's thrown it around for a while, and I'm sure they have behind the scenes, and now it's in the game, so hopefully we see it more going forward. I haven't finished my Vanguard yet either. I think I'm almost done with it. I did have that, like, cringe moment this week where I watched one of Houndrish's videos, and he went and opened the package, and it was, like, just powerful gear and some other things, and I'm like, oh no, like, I hope they don't. This could not be good. And then we learn, of course, like you said, you get something every reset. So that made it actually pretty neat. And of course, this stuff's more lore heavy. That's kind of, the point of this.
And not even just lore. Like, we throw that term around a lot, but it's also like story. Like, we're not just, like, I want to emphasize, especially like this season, the past season, how like lore is a broad term, and we use lore like, okay, lore items in the lore books and this and that and stuff, but we're getting like actual storytelling going on in the game that we've never seen to this degree, at least not with regularity. Like, I think the most involved storytelling that we saw in Destiny before Forsaken was, outside of like a typical campaign, happened the most in the Taken King, where there was, quests that you followed after the storyline, and the whole quest system was a device for telling story, because there would be like flavor text and things along the way telling you what's what, and characters talking to you and stuff like that. But, I just think it's so cool that they're using these quests and how they relate to each other and other parts of the game as like a storytelling device. And they're kind of taking us in a different route than we've been before in this game and in this universe, which I think is, it's fascinating to me. Just because it's something new, right? Like,
I agree. It's neat, man. It's cool.
And I think whatever they have planned for this season and how it's going to tie into things in the future, they're taking it a really interesting place,
I dig it. Yep.
Did you see, on that note, I think it was on Reddit or maybe even Twitter, but someone pointed out that Aldrin's death scene at the end of the Forsaken campaign almost to a T predicts the content that we've gotten this season. So he has these lines, and I wish I had it in front of me so I could explain what I'm talking about. But he there's like 3 different lines he has. the first thing is, he says, so there's to be a reckoning. Is there? Reckoning, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then he says, so I guess you'll have the last word. Okay. Right. And then the other thing he says is, the line between light and dark is so very thin. Do you know which side you're on? And that's what this whole season is about. And even
I remember
last
speculation
season,
about that when he said that too.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, no,
but
could it be?
It's not like that broad. Like it's really
Right.
very closely related to what's going on. And I just thought that was so cool. Like if that wasn't intentional, that's ridiculous, you know? Like,
yeah. Yep.
It had to be intentional. And it to me says like they have a lot of this planned out. And I mean, of course they do, but they're thinking way ahead, which is great with storytelling. Like you need to tell a good story, you need to kind of be like 10 steps ahead of the audience, right?
Yeah. Dude, I think I've maybe mentioned this recently on an episode, but it's so easy. We play this game so much and we've played it for so long. It's kind of easy to take for granted as a player. Not only things like the weekly TWAB that we get, and now, you know, they're always so chock full of information, but we know like when we get new content, we're just kind of spoiled in the regard that we know there's going to be lore. Nowadays, like you said, it's story elements and stuff like that. It's not go dig the lore out or this or that. We've got the triumphs page now, so it's you know, all in the game. And I don't know, man, like it's awesome. It's really cool, you know? Like it's a neat thing.
Yeah.
To have all that come with content, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I've just I've said this so many times, but I'm just digging what they're putting out this season, and it really like fascinates me and as a player, you know, and how it's not just, you know, we're not just getting like lore, like stories of old, like legends and stuff, right? We're getting some old behind the scenes stuff. We're also getting a story told in the here and now. And that's what's really cool is it makes the game like the world of Destiny feels so much more alive to me than it ever has. Yeah. Because there's all these factions and characters that have different motives that are behind the scenes, and you don't know the whole story, and you're kind of in the middle of it all, you know, of course, but we're trying to see, you know, what they're doing and what's their motivations and how are we going to defend the city, right? Like, how do we do our job? And you've got all these different factions and characters, like, struggling for power for their different goals. It's kind of interesting. So anyways,
it gets you even more excited for the future, man.
Yeah. Into what kind of stories that they'll be able to tell with the characters that they're presenting, you know? So anyways, so let us know. I'd love to hear. Send us your allegiances and why. Let us know either in your feedback in your Dirt Fam discourse, or send us a tweet, or, you know, comments on YouTube, whatever it is. And we'd love to know who you chose and what your reasoning was. There's a lot of people like drawing lines in the sand right now. So next up in the TWAB, they talk about Reckoning Tiers 1 and 2 being live. Now, when we're recording, this is Thursday. Tier 3 is not yet available, but it will be unlocked. The activity has a power level requirement of 680. You'll need to fully upgrade your synthesizer to enter, and modifiers are active in the playlist. There is matchmaking, but be prepared because it's going to be a difficult activity. And as well, Invitations of the Nine begins this past Friday, if you're listening now. So to do that, you want to track down Zur, and he'll offer you a quest item to complete each week for up to 9 weeks. Of course, 9, right? Each week you engage, you'll be invited to learn more about the Nine and unlock lore pages to dive deeper into their story. Mysterious. And by now, you'll probably know some of what that involves, but we don't know yet. I'm just excited to learn more about the Nine.
Yes, I am as well. It'd be cool if Trials was alongside that, but it's okay. It's all right. I'm over it.
I was talking with some buddies this weekend, and how, you know, the Reckoning being in like unknown space or whatever, like, and it's essentially like very similar to where you would go when you would play trials, right? You'd be you'd go to that space, like it's almost like especially where you first log in, like almost this. I don't know if it's literally the same place, but it's the same environment. And I think that like if they hadn't said something about trials before that came out, like people would have been losing their minds. Like, oh my God, like trials is coming back. Do you see this? Like, you know, like they had to say something, you know?
It made me like think, in Mini Guardians, I think when that came out after they said that, even it was still like, okay, maybe they could have done, because I said on the show, like, when are they gonna, how can they do trials? You know, the first season was this season's Gambit, the next season seems to be like secret and raid focused from what we can tell. Maybe, yeah,
and we had no idea
when is trials coming back, but they totally could have done it.
We had no idea that trials or that the 9 were going to be so integrated into this season. They definitely, like, if they had the mode ready, this would have been the season to bring it back.
It would have definitely been. Because you can't really, I don't know that you can just bring, like, trials can't really be the focus if it's trials as we know it. Right. Can't be the focus of a season, really. Gambit, you know, can be, you know, something like that. But to drop it with Gambit, with all this 9 lore, that would have been pretty sweet.
It would have been huge, but alas.
It's not ready.
It's not. Next up in some Gambit related news, they mentioned that as of 2:20 p.m. on the 14th of March, they released an update to matchmaking in Gambit. They mentioned that being that it's a team-based activity, players who are in pre-made fire teams have a communication advantage. To offset that advantage, we've raised the internal skill rating of pre-made fire teams to pull in higher skill enemies to fight against. With this change, even as a solo player, you'll still have a chance. Plus, your other matched fire team mates should be higher skilled as well. Solo players of low skill should expect to match other solo players more frequently. Higher skilled teams will also match teams more frequently. So, I think the aim with this, of course, besides what they mentioned, is to make Gambit a little more friendly as a solo queue player, because I mean, I've flat out been telling people since it released, like, just don't go into Gambit solo. You're gonna have a bad time.
I've been doing.
Yeah, and I have friends who are like, I hate Gambit, and I'm like, yeah, you've never played it with me or a team. Like, I bet you do, because I hate going in solo too.
You have to, like, you have to go in with it's almost like, you know, it's going in comp solo. You already get your mindset ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before you go, because you know these things could happen. And I have had that thought. You know, I was talking with a Guardian before the season launched, and they were mentioning to me how they were having trouble playing solo with Season of the Forge. And I'm like, man, I play solo a lot just at the times I play and stuff. And I played all through Season of the Forge solo, like a lot of that content, most of it. And with this, I've noticed with Season of the Drifter, I like these changes because it is a little bit more difficult right now as a solo player a lot late at night to go in there and try to get my Gambit stuff done. You know? And Reckoning for that matter.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Which Reckoning is definitely one of those activities where you know, unless you're doing like tier 1's not too bad, but going into tier 2, and I'm willing to bet especially tier 3, like there's more coordination and strategy that goes on. And, you know, until, like, usually depending on the week, like, and it's different with being that there's modifiers, but usually people will figure out, okay, like, here's the strat, right? Here's the path of least resistance, and people will catch on to that. And then by the end of the week, maybe everybody kind of knows what to do. But going into it, you know, it can be challenging.
Yes.
And I've run some tier 1 solo, not some tier 2s. I tried and did not have any success, so I had to go in with a team that knew what they were doing for tier 2s to actually get anything done.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, with Gambit, hopefully this will make it a little more friendly if you're going in solo. Ensure that you have a decent time at least, and not just get stomped by an awesome team. So that should be encouraging for some. I'll have to try it out and see how it does. Also, they mention with Gambit Prime synths, there's a hotfix coming 2.2.0.2. You'll be able to exchange 5 synths for 100 glimmer. This is basically just to help you deal with inventory issues, because I do believe they cap at 20 synths. I think you can't hold more than 20 of one type of synth.
Yeah, and I thought, because they start another stack, and I thought I had heard this week that wasn't the intention either.
Oh, really?
For you to have multiple stacks, but I can't.
I haven't
credit where
ended
I got
up
that
with
from.
more than one stack. I think I'm just spending them once I get enough.
Yeah, once you get in.
Either way, you'll be able to clear some of those out if you're ending up with too many, from just playing a lot and you don't have a way to convert them, because you can't. That's the other downside, is you can't convert them into a bunch of usable motes. Like, you can only hold one mote of a kind at a time. Which would be nice if you could just maybe do like 5 motes of each, right? So you can at least like bank those and then get some more. I don't know. I guess it's kind of one of those things where they put in these protections to keep you from like not cheesing stuff, but like burning through it and then being able to just bank a bunch of items you need. Like, they want you to have to go back in and get the stuff, right?
It's a classic Destiny loop.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want it to be
we don't want
too cheesable.
We don't want you to be able to save stuff, basically.
Yeah, like the new season to season stuff.
Yeah.
No doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Prepping for the new DLC with like getting all your reputation just shy of, which you can still do that.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Next up, they mentioned in Reckoning, they had intended for Prism, which is a modifier, to be removed in the first patch in the higher tiers of the Reckoning. However, they've gotten some good feedback with it, so they're going to keep it, but what they are going to do is remove the glass modifier, which has seemed to be more problematic, they mentioned. So what they're going to do in the hotfix 2.2.0.2 is replace glass with Prism and monitor feedback and make adjustments as needed.
Very nice.
And then next up in Destiny player support, they talk about some issues that they have in line for hotfix 2.2.0.1. They expect these issues to be resolved that include problems with the pursuits for Malfeasance and Breakneck not progressing as expected, problem with the best offense Triumph not counting the correct number of orbs generated in strike activities, and also a problem with blockers in Kel's Grave and Cathedral of Cathedral of Scars Gambit map. I always thought it was Cathedral of Stars. I guess I need to reread that. Then going on, as usual, make sure you've got room in your inventory when you pick up pursuits. I feel like this should just be understood at this point. Like, check your inventory. Always have room for stuff, because if you pick up the Allegiance thing, it may not go to your postmaster.
Right.
Yep. Happens.
The classic thing.
Every time there's a new thing, it never goes to your postmaster first.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other known issues with a variety of things that you can check out. If you're having any weird problems, go check those out. They've got some known issues. And then next up, of course, the movie of the week, which, as expected, is filled with dings. Ding, ding, ding.
I know. They were pretty good.
I love this. The best one is the first one, the movie of the week, that involved Tokyo Drift. That was pretty funny.
I saw that one on Twitter.
Shout out to our buddy Fallout. Got a honorable mention for one that he put up. Cool. Love it. Did you see the other honorable mention, Cade 6's death, but it's Windows XP?
I did, yeah.
Dude,
shutting down.
I didn't understand what that meant, and then I watched it and laughed out loud, really.
I know. I watched it, and I'm like, this is just the scene. Like, what is,
I was like, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh.
Shouldn't have taken on that update.
Did not just do that. That was pretty funny. That was clever.
I liked it.
Last, they mentioned, of course, they had a Bungie bounty this week. over on Xbox with Gambit Prime. Hopefully you got a chance to participate in that if you're interested. There's 2 more coming up. One March 20th on PS4 at 10 a.m. and another April 3rd on PC at 10 a.m. And you can compete with the Bungie team on Gambit Prime. And if you win the Sign of Mutual Combat emblem. You can also watch those live on twitch.tv/Bungie.
Again, pro tip. I usually mention this. Make sure you check what platform they're on and don't try to matchmake on the wrong console like I did one time.
Yeah.
I figured it out pretty quick, but...
like, this is not working.
Those don't look like the same button prompts.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Something's wrong
That
here.
makes sense. At least they're getting some Xbox love there, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I'd have been able to try to participate, but, they're always on 10 a.m., noon my time on a weekday, and I can't necessarily be at home to be playing Gambit or even have a team that could do it either.
Nope.
Just doesn't work out for me. I'm like, who plays these things?
It takes me too long to get home from lunch as well. Still, it wouldn't be enough time.
I have to imagine it's all like UK and European and Aussie Guardians playing at those times that actually get to play. Or people with night jobs or something, students.
I saw it kind of talked about on Twitter too, and people are like, wanting different times, but it's, it is also understandable. It's like, it's almost like they'd have to work one Saturday a month or something. And we're talking about a whole team of people to set this stuff up. It's not just like 2 of them are playing Gambit or something.
Yeah, they do it in the studio and set it up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's understandable why, they can't just do this on a weeknight at 7-10 p.m. or something,
Give them a half a day, Bungie management team. If they work a Saturday to do a Bungie bounty, give them a half a day throughout that week.
Yeah, it's going to take. Help me out here. So that was all of the news over at This Week at Bungie. We did have a hot fix this week that came in 2.2.0.1. You want to go over some of the highlights on that? Some of the important stuff, man?
Yeah. Definitely. Well, they mentioned too. Okay, let me start here. The main thing is they fixed an issue where weekly bounties were resetting on Sundays instead of the weekly reset. That was the
Ada and Petra.
Ada stuff, that we ran into last week. So, I actually kind of forgotten about that and ran up to her and couldn't pick up that bounty.
Oh, man.
It's like, what is going on?
What the heck?
I'll just run through these here real quick. Another one, you mentioned the Best Defense Triumph, which awards the new Oxygen SR3.
Yep.
It wasn't counting the correct number of orbs of light generated in strike activities. Let's see here. What else stand out do we have? Fixed an issue where the pursuits for Malfeasance and Breakneck were not progressing as expected in Gambit and Gambit Prime. And these are actual hot fixes, dropped fixes. These have already been implemented, Guardians. Right. So... what else we got here? Fixed an issue where Gambit activities may mistakenly report that players' motes are lost when they defeat an enemy invader. Didn't you say that happened to you? I thought you mentioned something about... No, you know what? You did not. My fire team said that. We were playing some Prime, and they it said they lost all their motes. They had like 10 or 15, but they still were able to deposit them. It was very strange.
Weird.
Maybe similar, maybe the same thing. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Remove Taken Hobgoblin Primeval from Gambit Prime to prevent an issue where early despawning would cause matches to not end correctly.
Yikes.
Any other stand out to you, man? These things, when you read this stuff, it's like, how? There's just so much, man. Like, how do they keep track of all this stuff? Obviously, they can count on the players to tell them about it, but there's just so much going on.
The last big one was they fixed that crazy error with 1KV. That would give you 25% additional damage across your arsenal if you had it equipped. So that is no longer the case.
Yes.
Yep. So you don't have to... Well, if you were enjoying that, the fun's over.
Sorry, Guardians. And you can check this out, of course, guys. Go to Bungie.net. Destiny 2 hotfix 2.2.0.1.
Yep. All right, man.
In the game.
I think that is all the news so far. Unless we missed something that happened over the weekend, in which case, forgive us.
there's always all kinds of info out there that's not confirmed, but we've touched on.
Yeah, there's some stuff coming up that we know will. Oh well, it's funny. One of the biggest things that we were alluding to last week was that there was as part of the, I think the Allegiance quest. Mm-hmm. That we didn't even bring this up. When you go see the spider, he's got like a secret black market menu, and what was data mined was an item described as a Gallahorn replica, and people were not assuming but speculating that Gallahorn might be coming back. And so that explains that. I mean, it's really funny. It was almost like a troll,
Yeah, it definitely was, because it was like 20 exotic engrams.
Yeah, you can't buy any of this stuff. Like literally all the currencies are actual currencies, but they're like in a stack higher than you can afford. Like 500 of the Dreaming City crystals, or 5 Hermionized blossoms or whatever, and you only get 3. Like, it's really funny.
It's like, oh, Bungie team, you guys are getting that confident, huh? You're just gonna troll us now.
I thought it was pretty funny.
It was good. Yeah, it was.
But there's some other things that have been brought up here and there that we know we can expect this season, like with Iron Banner and other stuff like that. We're going to wait till we get official, details and news from Bungie to talk about those. When it's topical, we'll bring it up. Don't you worry.
You got it.
All right.
Well, Cyborg?
Yes.
It's that time.
Yes, it is.
Where I ask you,
okay,
how was your reset, buddy?
Man, this reset, I am overwhelmed. There is so much stuff to do. There are so many sources of powerful drops that you could just do that all week. There are like a bajillion quests that I'm trying to keep up with, between like all the new pinnacle weapons. There is the Thorn quest, there's the Allegiance quest, there's the new Gambit Prime stuff with the Reckoning, and man, like, golly, there's so many things to do. And when I log on, I feel like I need, like an Excel sheet to track everything like we talk about, like, all right, where to start, So
for some reason, I've just really been focusing on grinding power. Like, I don't know. I've just been knocking those milestones out.
Yeah. And a lot of people this season, especially with there not being a raid pinnacle activity, a lot of people I know have mentioned, well, why grind power this season? And if you're not into Gambit Prime or, the Reckoning activities, like, there's not gonna be a huge reason to, but that's like, I mean, we were joking around. We're like, kind of like any other part of Destiny, like you do the loop for the loop's sake, like, but that's anything. But I think there's just a kind of a step down in sense of urgency this season to do those things. Because there's not, there's only like a couple reasons to get after that.
Right.
I'm
definitely drives that.
Yeah. I'm doing it because I want to do the tier 3 stuff. I want to get the best gear for Gambit Prime because it's fun to me. And,
see, that's my motivation for the power is, again, I'm probably going to solo some of this stuff, and I want to be as high power as I can for those random fire teams that I join at times, and that's kind of my motivation.
But I'm also thinking about next season. Like, there is a new raid next season, and I'm going to need to be powered up then, and that'll happen over time. But, I'm trying to knock this stuff out as efficiently as I can. And, with Division 2 launching this week and planning to play that a little bit, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to spend my time and do all this stuff? Which I'm only going to play that a little bit, but it's also launching. So like, I'm going to put in some decent time this weekend. I didn't pay to get into it early. I think that's kind of gross. So I'm playing it.
It's interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting. Why.
Yeah, because they have free, which is awesome. I mean, Anthem's the same. It's a free year of content. But yeah, the Division did that. Their whole perk is you get it early if you buy like whatever pass it is. Yeah, which is interesting.
Kind of weird to me. But
yeah, the staggered release of Anthem was very interesting as well.
Yeah.
If you were a PlayStation player, which I didn't get it until
that was mega confusing. Like you
couldn't even get it until launch day if you were a PlayStation owner. There was just no option. You didn't have EA access, or there was another. I forget what it was, but
yeah. I feel like they're trying to monetize hype, and
I don't know that it's working.
I mean,
just kind of fragments the release.
Hopefully they know. I mean, they're going to know what their sales figures are. And if it's, I mean, if they can even, make another, $500,000 or $1 million off of just early access stuff, I'm sure it's worth it to them. But
it's interesting.
It's just annoying to the player.
Especially in like loot games like that, where it's all about keeping up.
Yeah. I'm just glad that Bungie doesn't do stuff like that, at least.
Yeah. Our main game.
Count your blessings. Right. But yeah, outside of like all these different pursuits and everything, I've just had a really good time in the past week or so, like playing Gambit Prime. I found to be really fun. I've been playing a sentry role and an invader on my hunter and having a lot of fun with that. Man, I don't know if I brought up last week, but the scout rifle, my Bay Polaris Lance, is so strong in Gambit.
Dude, I used that in the Crucible I've wanted to for a while, and I finally got it out in the Crucible.
Even in Crucible,
unreal in there too.
Yeah, it's really good. Distant Relation as well is really strong right now. If you have one of those, that's the Forsaken launch Gambit Scout. Yeah. Scouts, just that archetype Scout is really good. Just doing that, man. No 1KV yet. Picking up my ethereal keys. I haven't done a raid this reset yet. So I've got to do a raid and get some more keys and take some more drops. I did see, is worth mentioning, I believe it's DimG, wrote in a post, either on Bungie.net or Reddit, that there is a plan coming in the near future, like maybe in the next few weeks, for them to adjust drop rates for vanity items. I know we probably mentioned this before, but they have some plans for 1KV, raid vanity items, Gambit. Was it Gambit? No. Dreaming City vanity items and stuff of that nature. They're going to work on some of the drop rates and stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of people are held back on their titles.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. So I got that to look forward to. If I don't get it, I'll have a better chance at it soon.
Yeah, I think I might, kind of one of my goals is maybe to try to finish off and get dredging this season. Even though now that I'm learning more and more, I'm like, well, I don't even really know if I want to sport that thing.
Just get it to have it, man. It'll be smart.
Titles are cool.
You should be able to get it though. Yeah, for sure. This season, as much infamy as you can get in the different activities, and you'll be able to get those resets. And the meatball now just show in regular Gambit, he just shows up.
It's like Curse Week 24/7.
Yeah, right? And I've seen him like 3-4 times in like the little bit I've played regular Gambit. So you've got a better chance of getting that and those vanity items, which it should have been that way from the get-go. But I see they were trying to do something, but it wasn't. I don't think it was thought through like that far of how it would kind of affect people's chase of those things.
That stuff does drop pretty. I mean, because I got several of mine during a full Curse week. I was grinding for Breakneck, soloing a lot of Gambit, and I ended up getting like the Sparrow and all kinds of stuff. I actually still rock that Sparrow. It's a 160 legendary. I love that thing.
Yeah, it's a cool little Sparrow.
Yeah, Gambit loot.
So that's what I've been up to, man. Just a little bit of everything, chasing triumph points, chasing titles, and
sounds familiar.
Doing things. I mean, for me, like, I think especially this season, they're really bringing a lot to the table in terms of like what I enjoy doing, and keeping me occupied. And I mean, I have friends that are expressing like, okay, I'm kind of burnt out, or this isn't interesting to me. And like, I get that. Everybody gets kind of a different experience out of Destiny and what they want. I guess for me, at least, like, they're hitting a sweet spot. And, I hope that's the same for some people. And for those that aren't, like, that's okay. You know, it's not for everybody what they're doing. I think it's a good compromise, though. Like, I think the kind of content they're making is fun, and they're doing some things that are a little different. It gives them a chance to try some things without the pressure of like a full release or a big expansion, right? Like, they can do things that they haven't before and experiment a little.
Yeah, like Allegiance quests and set pieces.
So I think it's cool, and it's I think in the end, like, this will make, like, this whole year of the annual pass, like, what they're able to do will make Destiny a better game in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, man. Definitely.
So what have you been up to this reset?
Man, very similar. Like I said, I've really been focusing on power, just to try to get my power up as quick as possible. Normally, I didn't really do that last season. I just kind of did the thing, got some of the quests done, grinded for breakneck early on, and kind of took halfway into the season before I hit 650. But I don't know, I'm just trying to get up to the 680s and 90s, maybe a little bit quicker this season. So I've been doing my milestones more than usual. Normally I'll do some of them and like go do something else, but I've been actually trying to knock out as many as I can. And then been hitting some Gambit here or there. I haven't played a ton, but I'm really looking forward to playing it. Like you said, there's so much going on. The stuff dropped this reset, and I immediately, you'd think I would have went for Thorn, but I've always been more of a last word guy. Even though I want Thorn, last word, I like jumped in immediately. So I actually went and started knocking out that Allegiance quest first. And I think I might be on the last step of that, pretty close to having that done. And then I'll probably go start working on Thorn. But yeah, man, just having a good time doing that stuff. I'm hoping to fit in some more Gambit. We were talking before the show. I was actually still a little kind of confused on the set pieces. I knew you had to wait till like tier 3 Reckoning to get like the most powerful Gambit gear. Mm-hmm. But you kind of were even explaining to me a little bit more because I hadn't done a lot of research on it. You have to, of course, upgrade that synthesizer and stuff. And you do have to, I was thinking, do you even have to play some of these initial tiers? But you were kind of explaining to me you got to upgrade that synthesizer and stuff and get in there. So
right.
I think I'm going to keep working on my power, and maybe towards the end of this reset or next reset, start playing even more Gambit to try to get some of that stuff going. I think I decided, man, I was going to go Invader and Reaper, but I think I'm going to go Invader Sentry, and I might even start with Sentry. I can't decide. As much as I love PvP and invading, something about that Sentry role, after hearing you talk about it, and then I went back and like reread all the perks and the roles, I'm like, that Sentry role sounds really fun, dude. Like guarding the bank, tagging the invader so your team knows where he's at, kind of like the support role, it's mm-hmm. I don't know, it seems fun. Which you've been playing it, like it sounds like it's fun to you. It sounds like you've had a good time.
Yeah, I enjoy it because you kind of get into a little bit of everything, mm-hmm. like if you're playing it flexibly, which I think is the best way to do it. You're handling like the blockers, you're handling invaders, protecting your Reaper and Collector, and,
and we talked about that. Like, I play solo, dude. Some of the teams I get on, and I'm even, trying to get my grip on Prime, you forget, early on, like, they'll drain your moats.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how you guys, like, almost had a bank full, and you had drained the other team, like, down to 5. So, like, that Sentry roll is huge.
Yeah,
you got to get rid of those blockers.
If you're not doing something about those blockers, reasonably fast, like, you're gonna lose a lot of moats. And it can steamroll pretty fast, like, because they're taking from you and putting in their banks. So like they're getting that much ahead of you, It's
crazy. It's cool though. I love all the mechanics, dude. And even the Primeval mechanics. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I can see definitely with a fire team coordinating and having your roles and stuff. It gives you like I don't know, just ownership, I guess, of what you're doing for your team.
Yeah. And one thing I like about it, and I think some people, this might put them off, but there is like a lot of push and pull, because once your other team, or once a team has, their primeval up, like, you can pretty much invade like nonstop. You can't invade as often as you can in regular Gambit. Like the cooldown on that, I think, is a little bit longer. But you can just keep invading. And if you have a good invader, like, you can keep that primeval from getting taken down long enough for your team to get yours up, and actually have like a fighting chance at winning the game. And, I think that's important in this type of game, that there's not a rubber band mechanic, but if you have your team like well built, or you get like some good plays, you can stay in the game. Like, it's not over.
Oh yeah,
if they get theirs up.
Yeah, dude,
first.
I've had some major back and forths already.
And I think like that's what makes it different from Gambit vanilla in a way, in that, a lot of the time it's, who can get there first, or like if you are way ahead, and the other team's like, seriously deficit or behind because some invasions or this or that, like, sometimes you're just done if they can melt the primeval. But you can't melt the primeval as fast unless you are like set up perfectly for it, and you have all your stacks and everything. So it's a lot more of a tug of war, and I think it makes it more competitive and more fun. And I've enjoyed it.
I have had that thought, like Gambit is kind of its own thing, and I think, they want it to be that too. I mean, obviously inside of Destiny, but it seems like, I mean, especially as much attention they're putting on it, they really want it to take off. They're excited. You can see the team talking about being excited about private matches, and the community talking about getting tournaments together and stuff like that. I have thought, like, it is weird to have two different versions of it now. Like, it has evolved in a way that it's a different version of Gambit. So it's like, if you change the game mode like that, obviously the community is just going to gravitate towards whichever they think is more fun. But instead of being like the same game mode, maybe with some different things inside of it, it's actually become like two different things. And if I had to pick one right now, I like Prime because it just seems more intense and quicker, I guess. It's not probably necessarily quicker if you looked at a stopwatch, but only being one round, it just feels like, to me, okay, we got to give this round everything we've got. Yeah. And then it's over. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that, I kind of like that better than having rounds.
Going into regular Gambit, or Gambit vanilla, is a little more relaxing now.
Yeah, true. Now.
I just worry, that it's not gonna be well populated. And I think it is okay now, because there's certain bounties and stuff you can do in both. And then there's still a weekly for regular Gambit, that you can do for 3 matches and stuff. But I don't know. I have this idea that, and I'm sure they do too, that they can create different Gambit modes. And eventually maybe it will be like either a playlist of those modes, or you'll have like regular Gambit and then competitive Gambit, or something like that.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's a good idea, like a playlist almost. I almost feel like, obviously I'm sure they've got a plan with it as a whole. They seem to really want to push it, and the community seems to like it, but fragmenting it into 2 different things already, it's just an interesting thing. I think, I never really thought about a playlist. Like you said, that could be an aspect too. You kind of pick the version you want to play or something as well. Or queue into, I guess. Well, basically we do that now, but I don't know. It's just something I found interesting. I guess it's no different than the Crucible. We got, I guess, quick play, and then you've got comp, and then trials if it comes back.
Right.
It's different types of Crucible to play, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to jumping in some more Gambit. I have been playing it, but I don't have much of the set stuff done yet, so I'm going to try to get in there and get some Reckoning going. I have been kind of fitting in some Anthem here and there. I've mentioned it the last couple episodes. I don't know what it is about that game. I was really going to get the Division and not Anthem, but for like a 3 or 4 day period, I was just watching videos and doing this, and even with all the negative whatever, something about it just looked fun. And I've just kind of been, like you're going to do with the Division, I just kind of log into it maybe before I go to bed after I put some Destiny time in and level my character 1 or 2 levels and just kind of have some fun playing something else. It's kind of fun to experience another game. I love Destiny and enjoy it, but it's always fun to throw something else in here and there. So it's weird trying to balance 2 looter shooters, I guess, that classic phrase. It seems to be a hot phrase right now, at least talking about it. But it's, Anthem definitely has builds. Like there's definitely builds, and it's very like ability elemental based and stuff like that. And I actually went, my son and I was showing him the characters when I created my character, and of course the Colossus or whatever is like the big javelin, and I was thinking about doing that, and then we were looking at the Storm, which is like the cape wearing, can hover more than the other javelins, warlocky type javelin, and we both were like, let's do that one. That looks cool because it's fun to let them help you make your character and stuff like that. And dude, it's fun, man. Like I'm hovering above everything way more than the other javelins, and I'm hardly ever using my gun and just throwing down lightning bolts. And what's really cool is you can combo in Anthem. You have 2 different abilities. One's like a detonator, and one's a primer, I think. And you like prime them with your freeze capability, let's say, and then
sounds like Mass Effect too.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Of course, being BioWare.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. I didn't even realize that was a thing until I watched some videos, and I'm like, there's a little icon that tells you which is what. And of course, you do extra damage if you like combo like that.
Right.
And I'm like, it's just cool to see another game. You know what I mean? It's fun to play it and see something different. But then I log on and do my Destiny stuff every week and have a blast as well. So
yeah,
anyways,
playing other games like that. Like one thing I was looking at last night that really like stuck out to me was had jumped on Destiny, and I was just looking at like how really good the UI is, like how excellent it is. It like
it's
everything's
again,
so pretty and streamlined and clear, and it's not everything, but a lot of stuff is easy to find. Everything in your HUD, like, and the information you need to know right now is like, man, their UI is so good.
Award winning.
Yeah, it is. And there's a reason for that. Like, it is really excellent.
It is, dude. Like, cause Anthem, I try to like separate just not being familiar with the game versus like the UI just not being as user friendly.
Right.
But there is definitely that aspect. Like there's Anthem definitely could use some like quality of life UI, menu browsing and stuff like that. And you're right, man. Like, if you're not giving Bungie props on anything else, you can give it to their UI team.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
Man, one other thing worth mentioning kind of in this wheelhouse this week was, did you see the tweet from Gearbox?
No, I didn't.
So they put up a tweet with a date, and it's a road sign, and it says, let me pull it up and I'll describe it to you. Gearbox.
Yeah, I actually haven't,
on
of course,
Twitter.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah,
it's
so
what everybody wants.
It says Boston, MA, and then it says March 28th, exit 3. So there's going to be an announcement, or there's going to be something on March 28th. And of course, the assumption is, either announcement or a drop of,
a title or
Borderlands 3.
I mean,
sorry.
These days, days you don't even know if these days everyone would think Borderlands 3. Of course, I did not see that. But these days you don't even know if developers are just going to drop a game on you or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
that's the thing. Is like, is it an announcement or are they just going to drop it? I mean, they could literally just release it. And what type of game is it going to be? Is it going to be like a investment game, like looter shooter, just like all these other games we have now? Is it going to just be a Borderlands 3 proper with, just single player campaign? Like, what could it be, man? You just don't know.
Who knows?
Exciting
I did not
stuff.
see that, dude.
Yeah.
That is very exciting. Very cool.
I mean, of course, who doesn't love Borderlands? If you haven't played it, go buy the collection right now. Like, you need to play it.
It's so good. The one, might be a little bit rough to go through, but you can respect what it was.
Even
for the
one
time.
was
Two,
a lot of
dude.
fun, but two was definitely something special.
I still remember like a specific moment of running with my cousin and one of my good buddies, dropping that like spaceship boss early on in the game, and the loot explosion that happened.
Yeah,
we were all, and then one of the other bosses was like Terramorphous or something. We farmed that boss like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That game's fun. It's a fun time.
Yeah, it was very awesome. Good. So something to look forward to there. And what are we gonna do this year? How are we going to play all these games? We're going to have to quit our jobs.
Remember, I was working on my backlog. And now I have new Destiny content and Anthem. So I basically am not throwing God of War in probably anytime soon.
Yeah. Maybe this summer.
Red Dead. Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know.
See. All right, man. Well, I think that covers our reset this week. How about some Dirt Fam discourse?
Yeah, dude, definitely. We got some couple good emails here.
All right. So first up, we've got one. I'll take this first one because they're both got a little decent length on it. I'll go ahead and get this one out of the way.
Take this one out.
Yep. We've got one from our buddy Kingsley Mack. He writes, "Hello, this is Kingsley Mack, formerly known as Mick Kingsley. I play Destiny on PS4 and PC these days. For Crimson Days, my partner was my beautiful wife, Stacy. She has in the past been involved in Destiny in varying amounts and has even raided with me before, but it's been a little while since she has jumped in. Crimson Days was a perfect, even if one night activity for us, where we could run a nightfall and do a couple other activities and then be on our way to 100 confectionery hearts to get the Val bow without too much work. So I would say the event was a plus, even though it was short and not too much to do. Other question for the show. So, how do you feel about the state of raiding in Destiny right now? For example, how does it compare to the golden days of D1? I often have fond memories of those raids, and have even talked some friends into going back into a raid like Wrath of the Machine. Heck, I even liked Crota also. It was a pretty good raid. It was a good party raid. I'm really glad Last Wish was made. While Leviathan was good in length and Eater of Worlds had some awesome mechanics, it wasn't until Last Wish that I felt in awe with a raid, kind of like what you see in Vault of Glass or King's Fall for the first time. So how do you feel about the raids, and also how would you rate them in order from 1 to 5 for the current D2 raids? Thanks. Well, first off, awesome to hear how you were able to play some of the Crimson Days event with your wife. Couldn't be more appropriate.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very cool.
Love hearing that. And I wish one day, man, if I get my wife to play Destiny, that would just be something else. But she will.
Then you got an issue though. You got to get two of everything.
Yeah, that'd be a problem. But which
you're going to be doing with the kiddo probably eventually.
Yeah, I'm going to probably settle for my son once I can get him into it. But for your question, man, so raids and Destiny 2, that's a funny topic, dude.
Yeah, that's I can't even answer this, dude, because I was thinking about this and I'm like, it did make me think about just raiding in general and how much I did enjoy it back in the D1 days. I really loved it, and it got me thinking like why I don't raid a lot anymore. I don't know if it's because I play solo obviously quite a bit, or if it's a drive or incentive thing. I don't know. I always remember running raids and feeling very like happy and accomplished, when our fire team knocked him out, even if it was like the 20th or 30th vault run or something like that. You just felt like you coordinated and you did your thing.
Right.
But I don't know, man. At some point I would love to get back in them, but this is all you, dude, because we're talking D2 raid rank specifically is what he's looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one too. So I mean, generally about raids, I think, my opinion, like the skill of the raid team in creating encounters and stuff is higher than ever. Like the amount of creativity and some of the things they've been able to do with raids in Destiny in Destiny 2 have been really like amazing to me. What they did with the raid layers was really cool. That was a cool concept to me, and I hope that they do more with that. I think that looking back is tough, like comparing that content to Destiny 1, because we kind of look at it with rose-colored glasses. Like, everybody has fond memories of like Vault and Crota's Inn. Like, those always come up, and even Wrath of the Machine. But when you really compare like the quality of the content, like the technical aspects of it, like the work that went into like creating the raid, like there was a lot of work, obviously, and I give Bungie tons of respect for those, but like they learned a lot of lessons from that content. And I think if you really were able to subjectively like stack them up, I think a lot of the Destiny 2 raid content is far, far better.
Far superior.
And,
well, plus too, it was kind of like, at least for a lot of us, an experience like that was a first on console, especially like first person raiding.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it was definitely groundbreaking. That's like the rose colored glasses you're talking about. Yeah. And
it was just that
for many players, like that was their first raid experiences, period. Their first raids in Destiny, period. Like you're going to have a lot of fond memories of that, even if they weren't great, like pieces of content. Like you're still going to look back on it and love it because you did it so much, and you did it with your
even
friends.
Crota, dude. We know Crota.
Yeah, even Crota was.
But I remember having so much fun. Every week we would drop like if one of our fire team members wasn't on, we'd attempt it like less, and we finally, of course you could solo it, but we were like got down. My cousin and I were just two-manning the thing,
Yeah. That was
the fun part.
But that raid when it launched was an absolute mess.
Right.
And there's no denying that, but like we still have all these great memories of it. And I do too. Like I made a bunch of my friends in that time period that I play with still today, and still love that raid, even though it was a mess, like, so I think you've got to consider those things. And, anyways, so my opinion, I think Destiny 2, we're in some of the best experiences for raid activities. If I had to rank them, I think I would probably put Eater of Worlds as the first, then Last Wish, then Leviathan, Scourge, and what's the I can't even think of the name of the other raid lair. Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
I literally have it. Spire of Stars.
There you go.
Even that one was really cool, but it's just not my favorite. Like, there's nothing. There's none of these that I have like a particular beef with. This is just how I would place them. I say Eater of Worlds, and that's a raid lair, and it's a short activity, but I put that at the top of my list because I just think that boss fight is like the coolest boss fight that we've had in Destiny 2. I don't know. I just think like the arena and the movement, mobility, and the way that you handle that encounter was just so unique and so fun. That like, I don't know, I just put that up at the top. And then Last Wish, being what it is such a unique and different raid with a huge set piece and a lot of lore and story around it. And the mechanics are really challenging and fun. And then Leviathan being like, so I read an interesting comment about Leviathan the other day that, really stuck out to me, that it seems like they designed Leviathan to complement guided games. And it made a lot of sense because of how it's not a conventional raid, and that you start and you're on a journey from like, point A to point Z, right? Like the encounters would rotate, and there was a central hub that you returned to, and it made it more accessible. And it wasn't about bosses, it was about like different mechanics. I don't know. It was its own thing, So that's how I rank them. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
From the outside, from my perspective, like not a heavy D2 raider, obviously. From the outside looking in, Last Wish really seems like it's the most, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
It's the most radius of raids.
Right, yeah. It just seems massive.
Yeah.
And the encounters and stuff like that.
Well, it's, I think it's Destiny 2's The Taking. I think it's Destiny 2's King's Fall. Like, it's that to raids in Destiny 2. Like, it's definitely like the pinnacle. If you wanted to call it like the toughest, the biggest, the most extraordinary, like Last Wish definitely fits into that category in raids.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, great,
excellent
great email, Kingsley Mac. Thanks for sending that over, man. Let us know what you rank them. Send us an email or a tweet or something. Let us know what you thought. You didn't give us your info, so
yes. Always include yours as well. We got another one, Cyborg. Got an email from Chief Man Down titled The Dirt Fam in a Nutshell. Arrow and Cyborg, I have recently been on the end of some true love from our community. My Xbox Live has run out recently and I'm unable to get back up and running till next month. Whilst playing with Wolfner, I hope I got that right, he asked if I was looking forward to the next update. I replied that I was looking forward to it in a month or so when I could get my Xbox Live sorted out. After hearing this, he asked how much it was and asked if he could help. I said thanks, but it will be getting sorted out, so not to worry. I was touched for the offer and thanked him. 10 minutes later, there was a notification from Xbox with a gift of a year's Xbox Live from Wolf. I thanked him and told him I wasn't asking for help and I couldn't accept this. I was met with a reply of, well, I'm selfish and I like playing with my friends. I told him he was a selfish git. Let's see here. What I didn't tell him, that I actually had shed a tear as I couldn't believe that someone I had only met a year ago had reached out to help me. I love this community we have in DRP, DRP. The sting in the tail is I couldn't use it as the codes are geo-locked, so I couldn't use it anyways. Please give Wolfnir a shout out as he is a top bloke. Yours faithfully, Chief Man Down. Dude, what a cool story. My favorite sentence in here was I just lost it. I don't know. This whole thing is fantastic. The Dirt Fam is so nice, dude. It stinks he couldn't use it anyways, but it's the thought that counts. I remember what it was. It was the selfish, his Wolfnir told him that he's selfish and he likes playing with his friends. I was like, what a great thing to tell somebody. Like, don't feel bad that I got that for you. I just want to play with my friends.
Yeah. No doubt.
Such a good story. No doubt.
Yeah, that is great. Thanks for sharing that with us. Shout out to Wolfnir for being a generous guardian and a generous Dirt Fam member. These are the kind of things that I've come to expect in our community. Not that people have to do these things, but like this is the type of people that are in the Dirt Fam, and I love knowing that our members are generous and they look out for each other. So, and Chief's been a Dirt Fam member for a long time as well. And, I'm glad that he's found some great friends in the Dirt Fam. So thanks for sharing that with us, man. Appreciate that.
Yes, definitely. I feel like we can take this opportunity. We haven't done it in a while. Guardians, the Dirt Fam is amazing. They're awesome to each other all day long, chatting about Destiny and other games. Join up. Don't hesitate. Yeah. You don't even have to chat. You can just lurk, and we've got some clans and all that stuff for each platform. So if you haven't yet, consider joining up with the Dirt Fam.
Yeah, come join us on our Discord. It's which is like a chat server, if you will. It's got a lot of cool features. If you never used it, just go to discord.gg. But if you want to join ours, you just have to type in discord.gg/Destiny Reset in your browser or Discord app. Look for that server. It's open to all as long as you can agree to live and
be awesome to each
follow our rules, our terms of engagement that we give you. Then we're happy to have you. No other requirements to be in the Dirt Fam. Come join us.
Nope. Have fun playing Destiny and be kind to one another.
Pretty much
like this.
Yeah.
Such a good story.
Yep. All right. So if you've got some Dirt Fam discourse, if you want to tell us a story about something awesome, if you want to ask us a question or give us some feedback on something we talked about on the show, send us some discourse. You can send us emails, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or speakpipe.com/destinyreset.
There you have it.
There you have it. All right. If you are a patron, we want to give you a shout out this week. Do we have any new patrons this week?
We have one in the works. We got a new one this week. We are getting in touch with that Guardian to get their gamer tag. So hopefully shout out next week.
We'll get that. If you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. If you do so, you get a few perks. You get a shout out on the show. You get your gamer tag on the website, and you get access to a Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters. And you get to ask us how we like our coffee and what we dip our chips in.
Yep. And what's the other way?
You can also give us a little tip if you like via PayPal. We've got some Guardians that like to do that. If you don't like doing the monthly thing and just want to buy us a cup of coffee or something or a donut, you can do that. Go to our website, DestinyResetPodcast.com. There's a PayPal link, and you can send us a penny or you can send us 1,000,000 ducats, whatever you choose.
There you have it.
There you go.
If you want to do that.
Yep. That's what
there
you're
you go.
into.
Send us some potato chips. If you want to send us some potato chips, you can always
send us some
ask
potato
us for our
chips. AER0KNIGHT loves
box.
potato chips.
There you go.
All right, man. I think we can call it a show.
I think so. We got plenty of Destiny to play, hopefully, before we crash tonight.
That's right. Hey, where can people find you on the internets?
You guys can find me on Twitter and YouTube at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you?
Perfect. You can find me on Twitter, CyborgSasquatch, or the same on Mixer. And then finally, you can find us at www.destinyresetpodcast.com or on Twitter at Destiny Reset. Head to our website if you want links to anything to do with Destiny Reset or the Dirt Fam, including links to subscribe to your favorite podcast app of choice. Speaking of podcast apps, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, we appreciate your reviews. I don't think we have any new ones this week, but if you're listening and you've never left us some feedback, maybe some stars or even a written review, we do appreciate that. And it helps us get seen and heard by more listeners just like you. So please oblige.
Yeah, it definitely helps. And we seem to be getting some more Guardians checking out the show, which is awesome. It's always fun to get more people listening and hopefully ultimately in the Dirt Fam to come hang out with us. So. Yep. Good stuff, dude.
All right, man.
You going to play some Destinies tonight, sir? Or are you going to go to bed? It's kind of
Nope. I got lots to grind.
So. But Guardians, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And both of us will probably continue to play Destiny for at least another hour.
Can't quit now.
We're night owls.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're wide awake. We just finished the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
We might not sound wide awake, but... All right, guys. Until next reset, have fun playing Destiny 2. And take care, Guardians.